Good morning, everyone. I'm Joan Haffenreffer. I'm a Graham board member, and I'm delighted to welcome all of you here to the Women in Leadership Breakfast, How'd I Get Here series. This is our third year of offering this, and it's a very, very special year because Graham is celebrating their 220th anniversary of supporting children and families. I want to give a very warm welcome to my fellow board members, our foundation and corporate partners, to the members of the Women's Forum of New York, and to the students and teachers who are here with us today. And many thanks to our hosts, Mutual of America, for providing this beautiful space that we're in today. So today's conversation is going to connect directly around Graham's SLAM program. And SLAM stands for Support, Lead, Achieve, and Model. And it's really all about helping the young people achieve their dreams and providing the skills for them to get there. And the impact has been real. 75% of the students receiving SLAM coaching have graduated from high school. I want you to know that this is more than triple the rate for youth in foster care in New York City. So before we get started, I just want to make sure that if you would like to share your career journey, there are QR codes either in the panel or online, and also around the room. If you would like to share it, we would be delighted to hear it. And also, if not, if you want to reach out to Kindred, thank you. She'd be happy to meet with you at the end of the program. So we are fortunate today to have an outstanding panel that you're going to hear about their career journeys. So let me introduce first with Kim Watson. Kim is Graham's president and CEO, a passionate advocate for children and families. And next to Kim is Morgan Bass-Roper, global head of early careers recruiting at BNY. And next to Morgan is Dinorah Claudio, division commander at FDNY-EMS for more than 3 decades of service. And next to her is Kenita Lloyd, chief of staff to the chancellor, New York City Public Schools, and a longtime leader in education. And finally, Monica Morales, an Emmy-winning investigative reporter at Pix 11 News. So please give our panelists a very warm welcome. You're going to hear some fascinating stories, and let me turn it over to our moderator, Kim Watson.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to, before we get going, I want to make acknowledge a change in our panelists. As you may have noticed, Melissa Aviles Ramos is not with us today, but we are joined by Kenita, who was recommended. She's a close friend to Melissa, and also, as you've already heard, a longtime public servant at the Department of Education. We're also honored with other distinguished guests today. We have among us today Walter Mosley from the New York Secretary of State, Lil Padilla, who's the Deputy Director of Nonprofit Affairs in New York State Executive Chamber of the Governor Hochul's office, Sophia Zayas, the Director of Latino Affairs at the New York State Executive Chamber, and Hillary Link, the president of Drew University and a Women's Forum member. I want to also thank Mutual of America for sponsoring us in this beautiful space that was recently renovated. And we want to thank Tom Donato, the Senior Vice President, Brian Rooney, Senior Vice President, Raniel Lopez, Josmila Persia, and Tara Favors from Mutual of America. Tara is also a member of the Women's Forum. And we have among us several Women's Forum members, and Susie Brown, who is the president. I'm not sure where Susie is sitting, but up there she is. Thank you for joining us today. As Joan has said, this is Graham's 220th anniversary. And this organization was founded by women leaders who were far ahead of their time. We are honoring the history of those women leaders and those who are among us today, the legacy that continues. As Graham is an innovator and believes strongly in radical listening to what it is that folks say that they need, and then responding to those needs in action and innovation. We are here today to continue that legacy in talking with other women leaders who are going to be sharing their experiences for the upcoming generation of women leaders. So I want to thank you all for coming today. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker, Sandi Davidson, the Associate Commissioner of the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. Please join me in welcoming Sandi to the podium.
Wow. It is an honor to stand in a room with such beautiful, fabulous women. Absolutely an honor. And thank you for having me here today. I'm being scripted. This is not normal, so there might be some jokes on the side. Forgive me. So good morning, everyone. Thank you, Grand Wyndham, and to all those who are here today. I'm honored to represent our first woman, Governor Kathy Hochul, as a special guest speaker. I would also like to recognize another woman in leadership, Dr. Damia Harris-Madden, Commissioner of OCFS, who is not able to be here today, but extends her regards and applauds you all in the work that you do. Today, I want to talk about why the inclusion of women in leadership goes beyond fairness. It's essential for the development of stronger organizations, healthier communities, and a more equitable society. And yes, we bring the snacks. Always, we bring the snacks. I was born into a household shaped by intergenerational trauma. My mother was just 19 when she had me, believing that bringing me into the world could erase her pain. It didn't. My early life mirrored hers, marked by abuse, drugs, and street life, until other women stepped in. These women chose to help me, even though they didn't have to. They wrapped me in love, offered guidance, and let me lean on them through the hardest times, my community. Today, I'm honored to have some of the strongest women I know as my chosen family, my mentors, my moms, which there are many. Some I sometimes wish I only had one, carry me through life. I rose through the child welfare system seeking guidance from strong women. And here's the truth. Even though women make up the majority of social workers, we're still underrepresented in leadership. As of June 2025, across over 100 countries, women made up 58% of public servants, but only 41% of senior management positions, a gap of 17 points. When I stepped into a higher leadership roles, whether it be at ACS, presenting at the New York City Council, or stepping into a voluntary agency meeting with leadership and board members, I often found myself in rooms full of men. It taught me resilience, but more importantly, it reminded me that I belonged just as much as anyone in the room. And things are changing. More women are leading at the highest levels of New York City government. I want to acknowledge Mayor Mandami for championing that progress. After moving to Long Island, I joined the Cherry Grove Volunteer Fire Department, where over 70% of volunteers are women. 70% of my volunteers, fire department, is women. We have the highest percentage in the nation. Many asked me why, at the age of 50, I would do that. One, I look good in a uniform. Just saying.
I agree.
I appreciate that. And second, I really want to be a part of protecting a community of people that have carried me and it continues to be there for me. Leadership is everywhere. Leadership is us. OCFS is doing its part to empower women to take on leadership roles with a direct influence on the lives of other women. In addition to our commissioner, 71% of director-level positions at OCFS are held by women, as are 73% of the agency's deputy commissioner positions. We stand on the shoulders of women who shaped our history. Rosa Parks, Susan B. Anthony, the women of the Orphan Asylum Society who founded Grand Wyndham, Maya Angelou, and many others. And we stand with many others who are shaping the world today. Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, the first woman vice president, our Kathy Hochul, first woman governor of New York State, Tarana Burke started Me Too, Ann Williams Isom, dedicated decades to improving systems that protect children and strengthen families. Aisha Schomburg continues to address inequities in the system. And our very own Kim Watson, the first Black woman CEO of Grand Wyndham, who challenged us to not see what it is today, but what could be tomorrow. And for the young people in the room, Beyonce. These women disrupt, challenge, and inspire us every day. You know Beyonce. Just making sure. I got it right. Okay. Women bring perspectives and experiences that drive better decisions and innovative solutions. Strength isn't only a woman's actions, it's her ability to manage her own responsibilities while uplifting others. It's courage when the path is unclear, resilience when the challenges are heavy, and compassion that never forgets the people we serve. Strength is quiet when it must be bold, bold when it needs to be, and unwavering always. But let's be honest, progress doesn't erase the barriers. Women in New York still earn only 86 cents on the dollar compared to men, and even wider gaps for women of color. That glass ceiling affects more than income. It affects who gets to lead and who voices shapes policy for children, families, and communities. My chosen mom is the first woman to be CEO of a New York City graphic arts company. In a recent interview, she said, "Women comprise more than half of the world's population, so certainly they were and are needed in business. Women bring sensitivity and intuition. They understand the unspoken word and can often resolve an issue before it escalates. We have eyes behind our head. Women bring strong team spirit and a feeling of togetherness. We use relationship building communication skills to manage teams effectively. We motivate to excel and encourage everyone to be their best they can be. Strong-willed, hardworking, purpose-driven women have been managing families throughout history, and their strength was and still is needed in the workforce." Leadership as social work isn't always a title. Sometimes it's showing up for a family in crisis, advocating for a young person who feels invisible, or questioning systems built without equity in mind. Many women lead in this way every day, often unrecognized, always essential, and yes, with more paperwork than seems humanly possible. Today, women continue to lead at every level, from caseworkers and clinicians to supervisors, policymakers, and executives. Leadership is courage. It's naming inequities, addressing systemic barriers, and ensuring our work uplifts, not just protects the families we serve. I'm honored to currently work for some of the most dynamic, compassionate, and empathetic set of women in leadership positions within New York State. So we invest in women, we support women, we listen to women, especially those doing the work every day, closest to the communities we served, those with lived experience. We honor the legacy of women before us, we carry it forward. I see our young people here today. Many of you are already leaders in your own right. I do have to warn you, stepping into leadership may cause extreme confidence and unstoppable change. Because when women lead, communities thrive. Families are stronger, children are safer, and yes, we still bring the snacks. To all the women in this room, you are seen, you matter, and you are loved. To the younger women in this room, we crack the ceiling. We look to you to shatter it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandi. Thank you. And we are going to go ahead and get started with our panel discussion. But before I do that, I want to make some other acknowledgments. First of all, I want to acknowledge all the men in the room today. So thank you, men. Brothers in the struggle, thank you. And I also want to acknowledge I'm going to get this wrong. Deputy, did I get it right? Deputy Commissioner Luisa Linares of the Administration of Children's Services. A longtime friend, supporter. We go back. Let's just stop it there. And I'm not sure that they've arrived yet, but I'm going to do a shameless plug or acknowledgement for my granddaughters. Are they in the room yet? Not yet, but they will be. And when they are, then I will lift them up. Somebody is waving their hand back there. You want to be my granddaughter? You can't be. All right, you'll be my granddaughter for right now.
Hours are better than whatever she did.
All right, let's get started. The first question is for Kenita. I want to say that a few of our SLAM students are not able to be here. They're in school today. But we've created videos for them to be able to ask their questions. These young adults are peer advocates in the Graham SLAM initiative, and they're not only participants, but also part-time mentors to younger youth. So let's start with the first video, and this is the question for Kenita.
I'm a peer advocate at Graham. What changes would you like to see in our DOE systems that can change our young minds? Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I really like this question. I think they asked it. I even want to answer it. And I think what I want to start with is, I think we're on the right track. I think there are many things that we can all talk about from our personal experience in New York City public schools. But what I'm most proud of, having served 3 chancellors in the past 5 years, is our commitment to literacy and career-connected pathways. Back in 2022, there was a movement that was starting around a national literacy crisis, not only in New York City, but in the country at large. And we have committed to and invested in, made significant investments in what we call New York City Reads, which is an initiative that returns the way we teach reading to the science of reading, and to increase literacy across all of our New York City public schools. We've seen gains in our literacy scores from averaging about 6 or 7%, particularly for Black and Brown students in the earliest years of this initiative, and are doing the same in math and creating programs like Future Ready that connect our older students to paid internships, real-world job experiences that prepare them for careers beyond high school. So I'm very proud to say, I'm proud to be a part of those initiatives. I'm committed to the change we continue to seek. I see some of our parent advocates here in our audience. I want to welcome them and thank them and remember them in our time working together. But really happy that we're on the right track, with much more work to do.
The second question is for Morgan, and it also is a video question.
My name is Kayvon. I'm a peer advocate. Your responsibility for overseeing hiring of thousands of analysts and interns. What skill sets and qualities would you say make an individual stand out to you?
Good morning, everybody. That's a great question. And I think that all of us in the room likely have a job or have had a job. And so we know that one of the most important things that you need to bring to any career is being warm and pleasant, because it's way better to go to a job and have a friend next to you than it is to have an adversary. So I think the first thing is about bringing your real self, your real humanity. If you're a funny jokester person, be that person. If you're more of a quiet, introverted person, be that person. So there are some qualities that, of course, you can learn. So like resourcefulness. If somebody asks you to do something and you're not quite sure how to do that thing, Google it. Ask that friend that you made next to you. Ask a lot of questions. Try to figure out how to make that thing happen. So I think scrappiness is a great quality that you don't necessarily even need to gain in a workplace. I think that any of us throughout our childhoods have learned a little bit way to be scrappy. So I think scrappiness is important. The other thing that I think is important too is having a problem-solving mindset. And so figuring out, if you don't know the answer to something, or if you know that there's a problem that you need to solve, before you freak out, which you are allowed to do, regardless of where you are in your career, I bet anybody in this room can attest to that, that you think, okay, if this were, let's take the problem bite by bite, and figuring out how to unfurl those kinds of things. So most skills you can learn. If you don't know how to do Excel, again, Google it, use AI. If you don't know how to do some other things, you can learn those skills, but I think that the gifts that you have internally that you bring to any place, any room that you're in, that that's the extra special sauce and value that you're bringing. So skills you can learn, but the qualities of hard work, scrappiness, I would say are the highest ones to focus on.
Thank you. Our next question is for Dinorah from Janai.
Hello, my name is Shania, and I'm one of the new peer advocates. What moments in your career shaped you as a leader in EMS?
Well, that's a really big question since I have 3 decades of years behind me. Thanks for that introduction. There wasn't one particular moment. There's been several through my 36 years with the fire department. I started very young. At the time I was in school and I needed a change. And I said, let me try this. And it's been, one of the longest summer jobs that I've had. And so there's several things. So I think one of the first ones is becoming a single mom. And I had 2 children, 2 boys that I was able to raise, with the opportunities that I did receive through the fire department. So that just pushed me further into, achieving the most that I could achieve. I, moved into becoming an officer, and I had a lot of mentors along the way. And they just reaffirmed the choices that I was making. They continued to push me and say, you can go for more, and you can go for more. And ultimately, my family. My family was there every step of the way to continue pushing me forward and helping me raise my children. Without my family, that would have been much harder. But I set a goal for myself, and I achieved the goal. And that's one of the things that I also try to bring forth and impart on the members that are coming up behind me, is set a goal, achieve it. If you fail, try again. There are many moments in life that you're going to approach. Don't look at them as a setback, but just another challenge to overcome.
Thank you, Dinorah. And then we have a video question for Monica from Theo.
My name is Theodore. I'm a peer advocate from Graham. What has been the most rewarding thing for you as a journalist to see come from your news segment?
Wow. Thank you, Theo. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? I'm so honored to be here. I'm Monica Morales. Please watch my show. You were amazing, first of all, our speaker at the top. I'm the biggest Kim fan in the world. That's why I'm sitting here today. I believe whatever she asks me to do, I will do, because I believe in her. Do you have friends like that, where you just, you're here because of Kim too, right? We're here because we believe in people, and I believe in the power of people, and I'm very curious, naturally. So Theodore, thank you for asking that question. Can I see the girls? Can you raise your hand, the young women who are here that are from programs? Yeah, okay, okay, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. Can you see me? I'm wearing pink over here. My message is for you because I was a shy girl. Believe it or not, I did not like public speaking. I had a headgear, I had acne. I couldn't really speak well. My mother didn't speak English, it was her second language, and she didn't know how to read or write, didn't have a high school education, smartest lady I ever knew. And she watched television, and she really loved the people on TV, and she thought they were the smartest people. We really are the smartest people. Not really. But so I wanted to impress my mom. So I thought, I'm going to be on TV one day, because she loved the women on TV, because she wanted to be American, she wanted to speak English, she wanted to be rich, all these beautiful things. And so that's what I aspired to be in a simple way. Now in therapy, that's what I've learned. But I'm still in therapy, but Saturday mornings. But anyway, learned so much in that hour about myself. It's really, it's interesting. You're always learning. And what I also learn is that I don't know a lot of things. And so I make mistakes every day. I talked to Tom Brady yesterday. I did an interview with Tom Brady with JP Morgan Chase. I'm just going to tell you the 3 stories that come to mind when you say impact. And to get that interview, it's very difficult. You kind of have to be at the top of whatever game you're at, because he's the top. And I never really consider that. I just think the next day is another day. And you show up, you always try to dress as nice as possible, and you put your best foot forward. And you're not going to be perfect. Things are going to happen, but that's the beauty of it, right? So don't be afraid, and don't let anyone talk you out of the dream that you have. If you have a dream right now, raise your hand if you have a dream in your heart of what you want to do with your life. Not just the babies, but okay, don't let anyone talk you out of that dream. I've had 16 million people tell me that I can't do what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to probably go back to the office today, mind you, and I'm going to get 16 more, right? And I hate to say it, it happens every day. So don't let anyone talk you out of it. Even the people you love sometimes will say, oh, you're not smart enough. I had people specifically close to me, my father, tell me I wasn't smart enough. And I had to work through that. So don't be embarrassed about that, and don't be afraid to say, yes, I can, it is possible. Somebody said, impossible means I'm possible, and I think that's true. I love that, okay? And then the other story I really love is Jessica Middleton, one of the first Monica Makes It. I have a show called Monica Makes It Happen. No pressure. I think I did come up with that title, actually. And we just make things happen with partnerships. JP Morgan Chase is one of our partners. Goya, we partner with some great corporations. We're hoping to partner, hopefully soon, with the city, because we want to make things happen. And Jessica Middleton was pregnant, sleeping on a park bench when she reached out to me. And I was pregnant at the time. And it was the first Monica Makes It Happen. I didn't know how to help anyone get housing. I'll be honest with you. Now I'm known for that, but I didn't know how to help anybody. Kim met me, too, a few years back in the basement of a church. And it's actually doing. It's not talking about it. It's not, panels are great, but it's what you do after the panel. And so that's why I'm hoping these young girls, oh, by the way, she has her own home. She has another baby. I'm still in touch with her every Mother's Day. We're in touch. And she has a great job with the city. Maybe she works for you, I don't know. I don't know which agency, but she works for the city and she's very happy. She has a cat too. I'm very into fur babies. And then the third story, now I can't remember, it's my next story. It's the very next story. I'm only as good as my next story. Let's just put it that way. It's what's to come. I want you to get excited, young ladies, because your life, fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be quite a ride. And I hope that you will carry this day. You might not know this now. Are you watching? Are you listening? How many fingers am I holding up? My mom used to do that. Are you watching? Okay, I think they are. They're looking at us. And you might not know this, but today is a special day. Your life is changing. What you hear today is going to change the trajectory of your life. And you're going to someday say, I watched this crazy blonde reporter talk with these incredible heroes, our city's heroes. And Kim is one of our city's heroes. Thank you for asking us to be here. Thank you. Yeah.
Monica, that's a really excellent segue into the next question. And the next question is about what would your younger you think about where you are now and what you're doing now? And did you envision where you are now back then, back when you were younger? You want to start, Morgan?
Sure. When I was a little kid, do folks remember the show In Living Color?
Yeah.
All right, I'm glad. My dream, people would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say, I want to be a fly girl. Oh. And the fly girls, for those who are the uninitiated, were the performing dancers during, like if there was a musical performance or something, it was kind of a variety show. And they were these amazing dancers and they were so cool and so pretty. And I was like, that's what I'm gonna be when I grow up. And I remember my mom and dad overheard me saying that. And they were like, tell people you wanna be a doctor or something. Like, don't say that. But I think that the thing that I meant when I was saying that was that I wanted to be a performer. And I wanted to be able to make people feel entertained and to laugh and to have fun. And I wanted to be able to do that. And so I've had a long and winding career. I started my career at Nickelodeon. I worked for Dora the Explorer. Has anybody seen Dora the Explorer? So I started my career there on their audio team, on their production team. I worked for the New York Knicks. Anybody a Knicks fan? LGK. So I've had a long and winding career in different places that are about entertainment and making things fun. And now I work for a bank, which still is fun. And like the question that was asked previously, I oversee our early career recruiting program. So I get to work with the young people, the folks who want to come to work at BNY and start their career there. I also oversee all of our employee and business resource groups, doing events similar to this one, where we're honoring our women talent, our Black talent, our different underrepresented talent across the firm, and hosting big, exciting events. So again, even though what I envisioned originally had been to be dancing and singing and being like Beyonce to make people entertained, I think that a lot of what I do now, and in addition to that, we work with incredible volunteer organizations like Graham to do big marquee events to support the communities around us. Those kinds of things are still entertainment and fun and bringing good experiences to people. So even though it looks a little different than J-Lo or Rosie Perez, I still think that I am a little J-Lo-ish of BNY. So
Totally
that's the hope.
Totally J-Lo.
I love it.
Dinorah, what would your younger you?
They would be very surprised because I was on a path to becoming a nurse. I went to Clara Barton High School for licensed practical nursing. It was City College, and that's when the break came in. And I said, I wanted to stay in the same field. So I said, let me try this EMT thing, Back then it was New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. And then actually this past week, we just 30th anniversary of the merger between EMS and New York and the fire department. So the last thing on my mind was that I was going to, be at this level, at the highest, one of the highest levels. Again, it was the longest summer job. I thought I was going to do this, take a break from nursing, then go back to that. It's been super rewarding, and like I said, with the help of my family, continue to push me, and mentors continue to push me along to the point where it became a 360 for me. I started as an EMT in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Back then it was EMS Station 33. It's now Fire Department Station 58 in Canarsie. And up until 2 years ago, I was actually the division commander of the community that I first started and that I currently still live in.
Wow.
So that to me was, was super rewarding. I could never have imagined that I would have reached that level. Just working in the area that I grew up was rewarding and special to me. But to be one of the highest leaders and be responsible for the service that we provided in my own community was extremely rewarding to me. And just thinking about it, I could have never pictured that, at the age of 18, 20 years old. I started this job when I was 21. And it's been very rewarding career for me. And I'm throwing a little pitch out there. Join the FDNY. If, for the young folk, if you don't have a career path already designed for yourself, and you like being part of a community, because the fire department is a community, it's your family away from home, and you like to provide service to the public, and once in a while save a life, take the leap, join the fire department. There's many avenues you can go to. You become an EMT, paramedic, a firefighter, okay? And it's a great opportunity. Again, it's afforded me some of the great moments in my life. And I would only like for more, not just women, but younger people to take the same path.
Does the fire department do the training just as a?
Yeah, so we do actually train you from civilian, and we make you EMTs. And as a paramedic, we afford you the training as an EMT to become a paramedic. So there's a lot of training within the department and preparedness. So if you're interested, just take the leap.
Some bragging points that Dinorah and I are both from Brownsville, Brooklyn. Big up Brownsville. And a little, my father was part of the construction team that built the firehouse that back in the late 70s.
So when I was thinking a lot about this question, what would my younger self think of me today? And I think she would say, well, this is great because this is not at all what we discussed. So I've been in public service for 28 years. I counted recently. It was be more years than I thought. I started my career at a hospital in Harlem. It was the first Black women-led hospital called Newark General Hospital, working for a woman who would become my lifelong mentor. And then I went on to work in arts and culture, social service, civil rights, government. I spent some time working for Governor Pomo. Some of my colleagues are here in the room from the state.
with Reverend Sharpton at the National Action Network, and now in education. My real love, my first love was always marketing. I always wanted to make commercials. That was exactly what I knew I wanted to do. Like, I know nothing about football, but I watched the commercials. It's my favorite day of the year to like watch commercials, and I like grade them and I judge them. I talk about them as people are like, "Did you see the game?" And I have found ways to do what I love. I find myself almost always overseeing communications, which is part of my portfolio now, at New York City Public Schools. I'm proud to say that I initiated the rebranding from the Department of Education to New York City Public Schools. And it's those kinds of things that bring me joy in the context of what I do every day. And I was looking at you, Dinorah, because yesterday I was out with some colleagues and they said, "Do you really still want to fight fires?" So it's part of what I do every day. It's that buildings, but I do fight fires every day, politically, policy-wise, on the ground, for our over 900,000 students for New York City Public Schools. My career journey has been, it's been fascinating. It is, when I look back over the years, one, what an amazing city we live in to afford us the breadth of services, of opportunities for women in a place where you can see other women in leadership roles it moves me every day. I often find myself as the only woman of color and in many rooms and many tables. And I would say, early on, I was silenced. And so I realized this is why I'm here. My perspective is needed. It may not be valued, but it's certainly needed. And as I grew in my career, it became more valued. And I'm often the person that people come to of very interesting fires to fight. I am so proud of my younger self for persisting. I think that there were many. I was born and raised in Harlem in the 80s, which is a very different Harlem than what it is today. There were many distractions that could have changed the trajectory of my entire life. But my mother, who was a leader in her own right, who graduated from college a year after I did, was always, she had a way of never being impressed with me that only encouraged me to move further. She would say, but you haven't got your college degree yet, so. Really, I'm done anything. And then with my master's degree, and then it became like, why are fees so large? But I think to all of our young people out here, to be bold, to find and be confident in your authentic self. I didn't always show up that way. I sort of showed up as my mentor, or like a sort of cheap version of my mentor for a long time. And then one day I was like, it's not who I am. I was so surprised when people embraced who I was authentically, which was I think, a pivotal moment in my personal growth, because I had been sort of pretending to be what I was taught to be, like my mentor, the suits and the heels and how you behave here or there. And now, as I approach 50, I am very committed to this life that I've created for myself, to our city and to public service, to serving young people, to ensuring that we create equity and opportunity, and most of all, close the achievement gap for our Black and brown students, because although we might have challenges, we are certainly capable of closing that gap. So it's a bit of a journey, and I think everyone should embrace me on the journey. I always say it's not about the destination, it is indeed about the journey itself.
Monica, you kind of went there before the rest of us, but any other thoughts occurred to you about your younger self?
Yeah, I just fell in love with you. That's what happens. I fall in love with the people that I meet, and maybe it's just the panel. I can't believe what was said, but I'm hoping that the younger self would be like, wow, you go, girl. Like, give me like a little pat on the back or something. Because if you don't give yourself a pat on the back for how far you've come, because sometimes you forget how hard you work to get to the spot you are. I remember all the times back in the day I would lug these tapes up a hill to do this show in Atlanta. I worked in Atlanta. I worked in every city because we had a market jump back then. I worked in Boston. I worked in Miami. Now you can just take your phone. I could do a show right now and be like, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Actually, I should do that. You want me to do that, Kim? But anyway, that's what happened when I finally got my show, was my daughter, who's 12, I should have brought her today. I should have yanked her out of school to be here because this is better, right? We were just saying it's better than the class in the morning. But, oh, is she calling right now? Okay. She okay? All right. But anyway, she told me when I finally got my show, so I hope everyone's going to watch because my ratings are going to go through the roof. Pix 11 a.m. Is anyone home at 11? 11 a.m.? No? Okay, well, then watch it on Instagram, okay? Monica Morales TV. She said to me, Mommy, everybody has a show. And I said, oh my God, I worked this hard and then everybody has a show. I didn't know that, but things are changing so quick. So my message to you is to go after it and to just lean in. Lean in. When things are tough, lean in. Because I used to fight a lot. I mean, I'm still a fighter. Who am I kidding? I'm still a fighter, but lean into what you're not good at and admit it and try to just see yourself the way you are. You know, you can't change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to change who I am just to make other people happy. I used to try, just like I could really relate to what you're saying, trying to match the surroundings, you know, and that's what we're unique, and that's what makes it so great. So if there are kids listening right now, I just want you to know that you're special. God made you so special, and we think everything you do is so important. I want you to know that. And I want you to feel like we love you, because I felt so loved growing up, at least by one person. So hopefully, if you don't have someone, I did an event recently with young women. I'm not going to say, well, it was the New York Liberty. I was with the New York Liberty. And we had a bunch of young girls, and I'm going to ask the question, do you have someone that you feel like you could talk to? And if you don't, raise your hand. And unfortunately, a lot of the kids raised their hand. They said they didn't have people that they could talk to. So then we went right to them. We said, we're going to be your mentor. And I'm so grateful that I don't have my mom anymore, but I have mentors in my life. So if you like one of us, come over to us and we'll be your friend, okay? And that's for sure. I will be your friend for life, okay?
Thank you, Monica. Monica, you just spoke to the power of our SLAM program. That's exactly the intent and the work of our SLAM program, with mentoring and coaching for youth and for young adults. We have one last question. That's a video question, but I just want to say, Monica, you're living the life that I thought I was going to have, because that's what I went to school to become, was a broadcast journalist, and took a summer job, the summer jobs. And it's 42 summers later, and I'm still here, loving what I do, but not what I thought I would be doing. The last video question comes from Brianna, and it's for any of the panelists. Let's hear her question. I'm about to read it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Leanne. I am a peer advocate from Graham. What advice would you give young girls that want to lead but don't have the confidence? Thank you for your time.
I think that one of the best things you can do for yourself to build your confidence is to prove that you can do something that you may have thought you couldn't do. So if you are afraid of doing something, let's say there's an opportunity that comes your way and you're like, I don't know if I could do that, say yes, and then figure it out how to do it. And then proving to yourself that you could do that thing allows you to build the confidence that then allows you to do the next thing. So I think that a part of it is a little bit of the fake it till you make it thing, and asking the people around you, hey, I was given this opportunity. I feel a little scared about doing it. What advice do you have for me? And figuring out how you can make that thing happen, even if you aren't 100% sure that you can do it. Because it's on the edge of those opportunities that you learn, that you grow, and that you then get to prove to yourself, hey, like, she mentioned, you have to pat yourself on the back. Whoa, I was really scared to do that thing. And I did it, and it went well. Or even like, it didn't go so well, but now I've done it, so now I know how to make it go well the next time. that like that's what builds your confidence, is proving to yourself that you can do things you didn't think you could do. So go for it would be my recommendation.
Well done. I guess I'll go next. Well, the advice that I always give is, first of all, pick something you like. Pick something you like, associate with people within that same group. People that are going to continuously motivate you and have your back. And again, just to piggyback off of that, just go for it. Take the leap. Nothing is a failure. You know, just if you fail, if it doesn't turn out, you try again until you succeed. But you gotta like what you want to do, and don't become a follower. Be your own personal leader. Followers get blamed. Leaders mentor people. And at the beginning stages, mentor yourself, push yourself until you achieve that goal. Set little goals, not so big, unreachable ones. Set small, achievable goals that will get you to where you want to be. But one of the first things is always be a leader, don't be a follower. Don't do what they're doing in social media. Think outside the box, think bigger. And then you'll be able to succeed. You'll be able to lead others in the same manner that you led yourself.
I'm moving now. I'll go before Monica. I would just to add on to what my fellow panelists have said. I would say I agree with you. You have to do it scared. There's been so many times, even recently, where I have been about to do something and I felt like my heart was like gonna burst out of my chest. And it is, and you're right, doing it, repetition, I always think repetition is the mother of learning. The more that you do it, even though you are afraid, the more you will build your confidence and begin to tweak and refine what it is you want to do and how you want to show up. I would also say, prepare. I often underestimate how much confidence you build in the preparation itself. And that tends, and for me, it allows me to get rid of the jitters, to stop thinking about the thing in anticipation of even my own anxiety. If I had prepared, I feel far more confident in doing something new than if I had not prepared at all. And I agree, you have to surround yourself by people who lift you higher. That's not my quote, that's Oprah Winfrey's quote. And I also say, get clear about what it is you want. Continue to refine what you want your life to be, what your goals are, what you will accept and won't accept. What kind of woman do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world as a professional, as a mother, as a sister, as a mentor? As you get clear and start to own the words you're saying to yourself, whether it's bold or sassy or sexy even or powerful, those things start to motivate you every morning in how you put on your makeup, what clothes you choose, how you walk into a room. And that will put your shoulders back and your chin up in a way that starts to exude confidence even before you speak. Or even before you do, or perform whatever it is that's ahead of you.
That's so good. Everything she said that's what I want to say. Do your homework. My mom always said, do your homework. And some of the best journalists, and I think, journalists, we get a bad rap because we're storytellers, and we're all storytellers, right? When you go into a meeting, you go to school, guess what happened? You want to be a good storyteller. But guess what? You have to have the energy first. So you need to bring your own energy to the table. So do you ever meet people and they're just like, that kind of energy. And then you're like, oh no, it's going to be a long day, right? Sometimes you're partnered with them, or let's say you sit next to someone like that. So guess what? you can bring your own energy to the table. And so that's my message to you, is that you bring your light everywhere you go. So just try to protect it as much as possible. The way I kind of protect it myself is that I do esteemable acts. Like, I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to show up somewhere, I show up. I'm early, I stay late. I'm positive. I mean, I can't even the strength that you get is being positive, and looking at the positive, because I major in negative things in the news. Like, if you watch the news, it is the most depressing, and I can say this publicly, it is the most depressing thing to watch. And I've told my bosses that a million times. So what I majored in was finding the positive in some of the negative, and trying to extract that and then tell that story, focus on that. But that's just how I grew up. I was a happy kid in a very volatile household. It just happened naturally for me. So I used my strength and my childhood, and I brought it into the newsroom in a place of chaos and breaking news. I love breaking news. It's a valuable thing to always stay positive no matter what's happening. I mean, it may seem a little bit like, how do you do that? That's true. But if there's always a positive, whatever breaking news I've done, there's always people helping in the fires, our heroes. There are families and neighbors that help. In every catastrophe, there's the positive rebuilding. And then in your life too, all the negatives that are happening to you that you might think are negative, they're your biggest strength. And someone sent me, I don't know if it was you, Secretary of State, he was on my show with Sweet Tea, the rapper. Are you still there, Secretary of State? There he is. He was one of my best guests. So I don't know, were you on the show where they said your biggest strength, negative, it's pulling you back like a slingshot. But what happens when you let it go? You're catapulted to another place. You go so far. And that's what I've learned, is that, working through, again, in my therapy, I'm working through it, talking to an adult, talking to people that care, sharing some of it takes the darkness out of it, and then you're able to show up a lot lighter and happier. Because that's kind of the mission, is I don't want to be miserable my whole life. I want to be happy. I want to have some joy and some purpose. I'm not always like this, by the way. This is a panel, okay? But talk to my husband, okay? But I am pretty happy. And the reason being is being of service. And I think that's the common thread among all of us. We're all of service here on this panel. It's not about us. We don't wake up saying, look at us. We try to figure out how to help other people. And then I think that makes us highly effective. It's just that little recalibration. If you start thinking about other people a little bit more than yourself, you're going to find a lot of happiness in your life. Okay? So just start small.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your responses. I need a time check. We're going to open up for questions from you all. 2 questions? Okay, 2 questions. While we circulate the mic for those questions, I want to thank, there are members of the Graham-Windham Board of Directors who are here, and I want to acknowledge them. Where are you all? You're spread out. So we have Rich Rothman, who's our co-chair. Rich, wave your hands. I know I saw Kate Swan is here. She's still around, Kate. Barbara Marcus is here. Am I not seeing anyone else? Am I missing someone? Okay. Oh, yes, thank you, thank you. Are my grandchildren here now? Where are my granddaughters? And my daughter-in-law is here. And I also want to acknowledge the president and CEO of Good Shepherd Services, Michelle Yancey, who's here, who's our partner in the work. Do we have our questions ready, lined up? Oh, my granddaughter. I had a granddaughter, someone who made herself my granddaughter. She has to ask her question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you say your name first?
My name's Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
So, before you started your job, what motivated you to get this job?
Good question.
Good question.
Do you have anyone in particular that you want to direct the question to, Mackenzie? All of us? That's a really good question.
Yeah. So what motivated me to get this job? Well, I've been listening a little bit. It was like summer job, right? It was a little break from college. I took a break from college, and I still wanted to be a public servant. And unfortunately, I did experience a fire. My grandmother's home, and I had the opportunity or misfortune of being transported to a hospital by EMTs, back then New York City Health and Hospitals, EMTs, and that, got me curious. And I said, you know what, maybe I should look into this. And I looked into it. I became an EMT through Bravo Volunteer Ambulance Corps in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And from there, I then became a EMT with a private ambulance corps, and then until I got into New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. So it just continued to, broaden my, my desire to learn more. And I said, yeah, I can do nursing. But you drive an ambulance and you're going lights and sirens down the street, it gets your heart pumping, right? NYPD, my NYPD sister over here, she knows that you're going to that emergency, your heart's pumping, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna affect change in somebody's life, I'm gonna stop the emergency, right? And for us, as when you first start, it's very thrilling, it's very thrilling. But the other side of that is when you get there and you do help stop the emergency, and you're now sitting there and talking to those individuals that had to call 911 because for them it was their worst day of their life, and you affected some sort of change, or even if you couldn't affect change because the outcomes were negative, you were able, at least for me, I was able to take the time and sit with them and explain to them, we did as much as we can do. I'm sorry. Sometimes we had to say that, I'm sorry for your loss. And I still felt that I was being helpful in some way. We got there, we stopped the emergency. Every day it's a regular job for us, but for the public, it's the worst day of their life. And if we can impact it in some way, that was what pushed me to just also continue with my career in emergency services.
Thank you. I'll just answer really quickly, and then we'll maybe move to the next question and the other two. So I was on my way to graduate school. I graduated from college, on my way to graduate school in September, and my best friend was working in a foster care agency and asked if I was doing nothing with my summer, could I come and help them, because there was this big crisis that was happening in the city, and lots of children were ending up in care, and they needed social workers and caseworkers quickly. So I thought I would spend my summer doing that. Long story short, absolutely fell in love with the people that I was working with the families and the children that I was working with. And when September came, I didn't have the heart to leave them because they had so many workers come and go. And so I committed to wait another semester to start graduate school. And
Are they still waiting for you to show up?
I got to see it was the University of Puerto Rico. I found it maybe 20 years later. Took a picture in front of it, but I have changed nothing in my life.
Wow.
Well,
question number 2. I don't want to get in trouble with mine.
Okay, this is for all of you guys. So in a scenario where sexism has occurred, how would you respond to it?
that's a good question. So I'm both a woman and I'm a Black person and I'm a queer person, right? So I have a lot of different intersections of things that people could point at to say, like, you're not a part of the norm because of this. And so whenever I feel that I'm being treated a certain way because of the way that I might be different than what this person expected or different than whatever, I recognize if you feel that you need to treat me differently and treat me badly to make me feel bad about myself, then that is you seeing something in me that feels threatening to, whether it's the power structure, whether it's the like my ability to shake things up and to make positive change. There's something that folks see in powerful people, right? That causes them to be like, I want to like snuff that out. And so whenever I've experienced any sort of sexism, racism, anything, I've always thought to myself, that person is seeing something in me that makes them feel scared. And that actually is something that's a beautiful fire that I have within myself. And so rather than giving that experience, like letting that take me down, I try to say, like, in spite of all of these things, I've been able to succeed. And in spite of your haterade, I'm going to still kill it in this meeting or do the project that I was supposed to do in spite of all of those things. So I think that we hope that none of you ever experience anything like that. That's the world that we're trying to build. So hopefully nobody ever has to experience any sexism ever or any other discrimination. But when it does happen, you can say to yourself, that means I'm doing something that is probably pretty good. That the people in power don't want it to do. So.
I needed to hear that. Because you wonder sometimes, you know, I wanted to be an anchor woman my whole life, and I was always kind of passed up, right? I was the street girl for so many years. And did you know that it was just whenever, what is it, God's rejection is God's protection? And I really see it now, and you don't see it at first when you fail or they say no or whatever. God bless you. And now I get it, you know, and sometimes you just find your vibe is your tribe too. Like you find the people that you're supposed to work with. And sometimes you do feel like you're banging your head against the wall, trying to break through that glass ceiling, that darn glass ceiling. My gosh, it is sometimes so hard. But the bottom line is that I love what you just said. And I actually needed to hear that because sometimes it's threatening that we're so powerful as women. And it's too bad, right? That's the way some people see it. And the world maybe won't change as fast as we'd like them to. I wish my daughter would have a world where, you know, every woman is leading and every woman is respected. But there will be those moments, and I have them tucked in my chest and in my mind and in my soul. And all I can say is it makes you stronger and it makes you more resilient, you know. So I hope that for you. I really do. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it.
I think I agree with everyone else up here as well, especially with you, Maureen, about that fire inside. I think I often spend a lot of time unwinding my day in the evenings and rethinking about my interactions and where was it more challenging that even I appreciated it in the moment. And I think we continue to learn from ourselves in those experiences. To the young woman who asked the first question about what motivated us to be here. I also want to say I always wanted to sort of do good while doing well for myself. And that has certainly propelled me in all of the ways that I wanted to problem solve on like a very high complex level for the city of New York. But this has been you all have filled my cup today. Thank you.
Thank you. As we close off this part of the day, I'm reminded of a quote that we at Graham often reference. We're very fortunate that the founders of Graham have memoirs. And they're, as you can imagine, they're over 230 years old. They're quite old. But in one of them, the one for Joanna Bethune, her husband, Divvy Bethune, who was quite prosperous and influential at the time, encouraged her and Isabella Graham and the women who wanted to form the Widows Relief Society and then the Orphans Asylum to go ahead and to do what needed to be done because men would spend too much time deliberating over how. And this is over 230 years ago. Wow. And for them to do what they were being chastised about doing because women didn't do this kind of thing. And it's 220 years later. And some of the struggle is still there, but how much progress we've made. I want to thank our panelists today for being candid, for making time for me. I know this wasn't easy, Monica. I know getting this kind of time for you is amazing. And Dinorah, I know that you had some emergencies that you were attending to underneath the table. Listen, we get it done, right? And I just want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank Joan, Haffenreffer. Joan, where are you? It's our the chair of this work. I'm sorry, maybe I'm speaking prophetically, who knows? But who helps to chair this event each year, and who also is a Graham board member. I'm sorry, I did not acknowledge you earlier. Sandi, how many years? Thank you. Thank you for coming and opening us up today. Ronnie Fuchs, I want to acknowledge you as well. ACS, the state, St. Joseph's, right? We go back. St. Joseph's Day. Is it St. Joseph's Day? Right. Oh, wow. Wow. It goes way back. And I also want to invite everyone. Graham's Gala is May 19th. This year we are honoring Redlick Harwitz. Sarah, where are you? Sarah Childs is here for Redlick Harwitz. They have been longtime supporters of Graham's innovations and Graham's work, transformative work in child welfare. Also want to say that we're going to be honoring Jess Danhauser, my former boss and former boss. We'll be acknowledging him. And his mom is here with us, Beth Danhauser. If you're interested in attending the gala, Myra, where are you? There she is in the back. You can please see Myra. I also want to thank our Graham Slam advocates. Thank my event committee, the development committee. Daphne, where are you? Daphne Halpern, development officer. Where are you still here, Tom? In the back, I think he is. Oh, there you are. We want to thank Mutual of America again for hosting us. And again, I want to thank all of you for coming out and for joining us every year. You received a luggage tag. Everyone received some are saying they didn't get it. All right, we'll get you a luggage tag if you didn't get it. And a map that has a Graham map that has a QR code so you can learn more about Graham's work. And this, we thank Brand Justice, who is our we've been a client. They've been so helpful and informative for us, instructive for us in our brand development journey. Making sure I just get to all of my notes here. But I just want to thank you. Thank everyone for coming out today. Have some time with each other.
Wait, can we do one selfie video for our
we're going to take,
just really quick, Ready? Okay, who do we love? Graham. Okay. And we love him. We love you.
Thanks everyone for coming out.